happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys could probably already tell it is going down. Just by that title alone, guys, we're definitely going to want to see this one. So we got that corrupt Judge Juan Merchan, whose daughter fundraised millions off the Trump case, finally with his feet being held to the fire for his political targeting in this newest update, guys. I'm excited to get into it, so I'm straight into it. Just make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we get into it, you guys hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news as of this very moment. Trump to be sentenced in bookkeeping records, hush money case. January 10th, days before inauguration. Judge Juan Merchan said sentencing for January 10th after Trump's conviction of 34 felony counts in Manhattan hush money case. They literally copy and pasted all 34 felony counts. Now, why are they doing this? They're doing this for a very specific reason. Talked to a lawyer right before recording this. Here's what happened. You're not a felon unless you get charged and then sentenced. A judge must sentence you. Just because a jury finds you one way or another, plenty of judges actually, on summary judgment, like reject jury findings. They can do that. In the American legal and judicial system, each state has their own rules. But this is massive because what they're going to try and do is say that Trump's a felon. They actually can't say Trump's a felon until the judge sentences him. So Trump is currently not a felon. So this is what they're going to try. This is what they're going to try and do before this becomes a total zombie case, and before a bunch of people get fired and investigated, and all these people go to jail. They have to try and make the felon thing stick. And so that's what they're going to try and do. Or they're going to try and put Trump in jail for 4 years. He could potentially put Trump in jail for 4 years. Now, of course, that would tear at the absolute fabric of our Constitution, and would need to be overturned at the Supreme Court, which would make a very arduous process because it's a long time from like a state court to the U.S. Supreme Court. But nonetheless, here we go. Ordered the defendant appear sentencing following conviction January 10th, 2025 at 9:30 in the morning at the courthouse located in New York County. So this is Juan Merchan ordering the duly elected president of the United States, who won in a historic landslide, won all 7 swing states, won the popular vote, to come into his dingy, absolute garbage pit, rat-infested courthouse, and to face sentencing, potentially face 4 years in prison. Dude, if he sentences Trump to prison time, again, you are going to face a existential crisis the likes of which you've never seen before in the country. Judge Merchan has ordered President Trump to appear sentencing for the hush money case 10 days before he's sworn in as the 47th president of the United States in order to allow President Trump to appear virtually. The order allows President Trump to appear virtually, a signal that any possible sentencing will not physically interfere with President Trump performing his presidential duties. But you never know. You know, we all thought that all these cases would fall apart, right? None of these cases would be successful. And it turns out that we were right on virtually all of them, with the exception of this one. This was the one they were able to get over the line. Again, it's a bookkeeping record that is copy and pasted 34 different times.
And that's the part about this case that just blows my mind. We've had so many times this dead. Case was dead. A Frankenstein case revived by DA Alvin Bragg, and then Judge Juan Merchan let Bragg misuse his courts in order to come after Donald Trump. I don't see why Judge Juan Merchan doesn't give it up. His trusty sidekick Alvin Bragg isn't in on it with him really anymore. It's all on. All eyes are on the judge at this point, and he's had ample time to just say, hey, I'm going to dismiss it. I'm going to, delay. He's even delayed the sentencing instead of, just saying, hey, we're not going to sentence him in this case. So we're going to, you know what I mean? It just does not make sense. This guy, Judge Juan Merchan, is almost asking for like, hey, I want you guys to come after me once you take office, or, investigate into, my cases that I've ruled on, because it just does not make sense. This guy had so many times to get off. We've seen Jack Smith getting off, running away. You know what I mean? He resigned into the shadows over the hills. But we got this Judge Juan Merchan who just won't give it up. Doesn't make sense to me.
It is a misdemeanor that was bootstrapped into a felony with a novel legal theory with the help of Joe Biden's Justice Department. Somebody named Matthew Colangelo, who left to go into this department and to work, like take a massive demotion to go move into this Alvin Bragg's department to go and like run this case. So it's literally the Biden Justice Department running this case against Trump, and they actually are going to try and get this thing over the line and sentence Trump. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg has argued for suspending the sentencing, keeping the ruling pending during Trump's presidency. Total clown show. Judge Juan Merchan orders Trump to be sentenced in the money case. Court finds that neither the vacator or the jury's verdicts nor dismissal of the indictment is required by presidential immunity doctrine, the Presidential Transition Act, or Supremacy Clause. I mean, how insane is this that you're going to take... At this point, you have to just simply assume that they want America to fail. Let's say they don't sentence him to prison, right? Trump could face 4 years in prison for this. And if Trump didn't win the election in 2024, he was going to go to jail, and he was going to spend the rest of his life in jail. Those were the stakes for President Trump. Imagine living with those stakes. I mean, it's incredible.
That when you really analyze and reflect on what Donald Trump was, what he had to lose versus what he had to gain, man, he had it all to lose and still went up to bat, man, still fought for us because he knew they were coming after us, not him. I mean, crazy, man, crazy to think.
What they're doing right here is they are literally stealing time from a presidential transition, which is arguably the most important in our lifetime, with so many ongoing threats to the United States, to this country, and to the world at large. And they're going to steal his time, even if it is done virtually, to be a time vampire, to take away from his capacity to run a presidential transition. That's what they're doing. This is what's happening right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York judge says that Donald Trump may not face prison time in the hush money case. Okay, let's read. While the court, as a matter of law, does not make any determination to sentencing prior giving the parties of the defendant an opportunity to be heard, it seems proper at this juncture to make known that the court's indication did not impose any sentence of incarceration, a sentence authorized by the conviction, but one the people concede they no longer view as a practical recommendation. Really? No. Okay. So this is him saying he was planning on sending Trump to prison. Look at this.
It's all in black and white.
A sentence authorized by the conviction, meaning this is what I was going to do. I was going to put Trump in prison. Underlying
what do you want?
Concerns of presidential immunity doctrine and the sentence of unconditional discharge appears to be the most viable solution to ensure, finally, to allow the defendant to pursue appellate options. Man, I can't wait for these things to be like thrown into the incinerator.
And this part just doesn't make sense to me because at one point, like I said earlier, Judge Juan Merchan had delayed the sentencing. We thought until Donald Trump got off, it's his 4-year term, but now he's bringing it up again all of a sudden, trying to do it right before Donald Trump is sworn in. January 10th. It really makes me wonder and question his reasoning behind that. Like, is he's showing himself truly to be a puppet. Like, I'm not even going to ask the question, is he being puppeted around? But you're saying there's calls and shots coming from way higher up, and they're saying, hey, you need to act now. We need to go ahead and forget delaying the sentence, schedule it for January 10th. And that's exactly what we're getting right now. And I feel like they're trying to get in between somehow, some way. This isn't just a labeling thing. I don't believe that my whole heart that they're just trying to run this so that they can call him a convicted felon. Like, they've been doing that this whole time, even before he's actually technically a convicted felon. So that part, I kind of believe, but at the end of the day, I feel like they're trying to get in between him and that seat of the White House still, even after 77 plus million folks have voted across our nation.
They belong. Defendants' concerns regarding mental and physical demands during the transition period, as well as the considerations set forth. The court will permit the defendant to exercise his right to appear virtually in the proceeding if he chooses. So there you go. Juan Merchan, written decision, President Trump will face neither jail time nor penalties of the New York sentencing. Well, that is proper, but once again, they're going to try and put the man into the box that, as they can say, he's a felon. This is what this is about. If they dared, sentence him to prison, he's all but saying there, that's what I wanted to do. The entire thing is outrageous. The entire thing has always been an outrage. Every other case has now fallen completely to pieces. Atomized. Boom, gone. This one remains as like the single zombie case. It's so cringe. It's so tearing at the fabric of the nation. It's wanton destruction. Here's the breaking Fox News segment on it, filling in further details.
All right, breaking right now, the judge rejecting President-elect Trump's bid to throw out his criminal conviction in New York because of his election win and ordering to show up for a sentencing a week from today, either in person or virtually. That's all according to Reuters. Prosecutors had suggested putting the case on hold until Trump leaves office, but now he's facing sentencing before Inauguration Day. Constitutional attorney and Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley is going to be standing by on the phone for us in just a moment, but we have Clay Travis, I believe, with us still here. Clay, your reaction, this is just an incredible hour to go from, a win for the president-elect with the speakership and now sentencing before inauguration?
Yeah, this is crazy. I will say the fact that you just hit it, I've got the order in front of me right now, to allow him to appear virtually suggests to me that there is not going to be a substantial punishment coming from Judge Merchan. Now, I could be wrong, but if you're virtually sentencing someone, you're not taking them into custody or trying to do something in a significant way there. So that's my biggest takeaway reading the order.
All right, Clay Travis, thank you very much. We want to bring in constitutional attorney and Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley now by phone. Jonathan, break this down for us. What does this mean? What are we likely to see play out?
Well, that's a very good question. This is a judge that has kept people really guessing for a very long time. I described this once as the longest performance of Hamlet in history. We really could not figure out what the Merchan was going to do. He's now decided to sentence a president shortly before he is sworn in. Now, one of the things that I've said in the past is that many of the complications that we've been talking about and potential conflicts with the constitutional standards only arise if you impose a sentence that would hold him physically or demand his appearance, things like home confinement or actual sentence to jail. This would be a case where you would not even normally see a sentence for incarceration. So I've always doubted that that would be coming out of this case. So the court may be looking at this and saying, I'm not going to trigger any constitutional problems because I'm going to hand down a sentence that's not going to bind him in any way or interfere with his carrying out his duties. The one thing that I have to say, if you put a positive spin on this, is the worst option is the one suggested by Bragg, that you should just suspend the sentence and keep the president as pending sentencing for 4 years. That was a perfectly horrific idea that's being pushed by many.
Yo, there we have it, guys. It sounds like this crooked judge, Juan Merchan, and his trusty sidekick, Alvin Bragg, just don't want to let this thing go. They're holding on by threads at this point. And it just does not make sense. None of it adds up. This case from the get-go, I didn't understand how they were able to push this thing through, string it along, a dead case floating in the water, revived by this guy, DA Alvin Bragg, with the help of that guy, Colangelo. It just doesn't make sense how they're able to do this, and they're continue to just hold this over Donald Trump's head. Now it just, the fact that first judge comes out saying he's going to delay the sentence until, Donald Trump's out of office, and now he's coming 10 days prior to him getting sworn in. It just, I don't know if they've learned some new details, they learned a new loophole or something to get after this guy, but something seems fishy. I'm not sure. Hop in the comment section, guys. Let me know your thoughts. What are you hearing out there? Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you didn't enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one. We go.